Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Talking Movies. My name is Josh.
I'm Clay.
I'm Randall.
I'm Chris.
And today we're talking about Randy's pick this week from 2016, Brimstone.
Never leave your loved ones alone. You should know that by now.
Give us a synopsis, Randy.
I don't have one. I thought it was a lot newer than 2016 when I picked it. I was under the impression it was 2021. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
That's a lot. That's a big jump in recency. But so I didn't know anything about this movie other than I was told, "Hey, you should watch this if you like this," and it just seemed like okay, that's like not really my typical.
What was the comparison?
It was just other movies that were similar, Bone Tomahawk type shit.
Oh, okay, sure.
And I was like, okay, I just wanted to not stick to my normal. I wanted to, color outside the lines a little bit for my personal pick, And I also thought there was a gamble. I was like, I'm taking a gamble, but it could be something that we all kind of like for various reasons. And it's about most of the story revolves around two characters, one played by Guy Pearce and one played by a couple of girls, but one of those girls is Dakota Fanning. And I was like, oh, Guy Pearce, Dakota Fanning, and then Kit Harington from Game of Thrones is in it for a few minutes. And I was like, oh, I like the cast. Mm-hmm. And I read the little write-up on it, and I was like, I mean, it could be terrible, I guess. Like, I mean, who knows? About this girl who gets, dude, I don't know how to say this, man. Like trafficked and horribly abused by somebody who, spoiler alert, all right, turns out to be her freaking dad. Let me just preface all this conversation with, had I known really what this movie was about, I can assure you I wouldn't have picked it.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that.
Because by the end of the movie, I was so fucking depressed that, I mean,
I think we're all on the same page,
bro. So my thought process is like multiple pronged. Okay, I got like, on one hand, I appreciate the risks taken with this movie, and I'm like, okay, because I like movies that are typically like bleak, a little more like dark. I don't really want a happy ending.
Sure.
But shit, dude, I don't know if I want all of it at the same time for 2.5 hours, because nothing in this movie. But I also think it's like a fairly accurate representation of what that time might have been like. Mm. And then also a bit cartoonish. So like you go accurate and then expand on that with some cartoonish a bit, and then you probably have this movie. Is it exactly like that? Probably not. But is there a lot of stuff that I think really probably happened that people don't want to typically talk about and admit? Man, probably. It was a gnarly movie, dude. Like, honestly, I'm glad I didn't let Carissa watch it, because I watched it in the middle of the night by myself. I just happened, but I will say it. Do what?
I thought about that. I was like, I wonder if Carissa watched
Dude, I'm glad I originally asked her to watch it. It just didn't work out where we had time. And I ended up watching it by myself. I will say, I started it at like 2 a.m. thinking surely I was going to fall asleep, wake up, and finish it. It grabbed a hold of me, and I watched the whole movie. I finished it at like 5 in the morning, and I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? And I like went to bed, just laid there, looked at the ceiling for a good half hour until the sun was coming up. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it was just such a... I want to know how they got Dakota Fanning and Guy Pearce on that project. Because specifically Guy Pearce, dude, like, that character he plays is one... He's like an all-time bad guy for me, dude. Like, he is gnarly, bro. Just a horrible piece of shit.
I thought about that movie Lawless with his character, like a very similar sort of like unbeatable evil with a weird accent. And I don't know,
dude, for real.
He's like from Australia or something, or New Zealand.
He's Austrian in this movie.
Yeah, he's trying to pull some like Lawless was 3 years before this movie, and I'm like, is he in some weird accent phase with his acting career? Like, what is the deal?
I like Lawless a lot.
Yeah, Lawless is good. He's really like slimy and sort of effeminate in that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like totally different, but
He still has that like weird perversion.
So
though.
I will say before we even get in here, when the movie was over with, I assumed that I would be the only one that would be saying that I liked the movie. Now, when I say that I liked it, I don't know that I liked the feeling that I got watching it, but I absolutely respect the balls it took to make this movie. Like, dude, that I don't know, bro. I don't think they can make this movie today. Like, it was fucked up, man. Like, so much crazy shit was happening in this movie that, like, every time I turned around, something that I thought certainly wouldn't happen was happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, I almost got Megan to watch this too because
Good God, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, we were kind of not crunched for time, but we had only had a couple of days. We were gone for a week. I was like, yeah, well, I mean, like Western, like I said, Dakota Fanning, Guy Pearce. It can't be. This might be something she'd, tolerate. Me throwing on, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
In my defense, man, I swear, dude, I thought Guy Pearce, Dakota Fanning, Western thriller. This should be pretty good. I assumed we might all have our wives watching this one with us, and gosh, I hope Tori didn't have to sit through this.
No.
Yeah, I mean, like I got through the first act and was like, it got a little kind of crazy a little bit, but I was like, okay, I can deal with that. Like the first act was like, that was pretty good. And then the second act finished, I'm like, well, I think I hated that. And then the third act finished, I'm like, oh, I definitely hated that. And then the fourth act finished, and I was like, all right, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I think it had me like I was okay, and I just like Randy, and I appreciate the shit out of the fact that you just picked this movie not having seen it. I enjoy like, hey, I'm just gonna throw a movie out there.
Lesson learned, by the way.
No, that's cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the because nobody's have Josh or Clay. Did you guys even hear about this movie before?
I've scrolled past the thumbnail for it probably a million times because I watch a lot of Westerns, so it always is referring Westerns.
I was genuinely trying to bring something to the table that had a little bit for all of us in it, man. I was, dude, like 2/3 of this movie, I was shocked, bro. I was like, what am I watching? Like, if I had stumbled across this and just watched it and then brought it to the table, I would be like, hey, I watched this crazy ass movie. Here's what it's about. Y'all probably shouldn't watch it, but this shit was wild, dude. Like, because I mean, I liked it. Like, I liked it, but I wasn't expecting it. Like, those are very different things. Like, I was expecting to be alone on an island tonight once it was over with, but I was like, "Woo, buddy, man! This is one of the more intense movies I've ever watched because it just gets bleak, and then it gets darker." And then it gets more bleak, and then it's like, oh, and then at the very end, you're like, oh, I get it. And I knew what was happening as soon as they showed up on that thing. I was like, oh shit,
yeah.
And then and then you realize once you realize who's talking at the end, it's not Dakota Fanning, it's her daughter. I was like, oh man, I was like damn near in tears, bro. I was like, this movie is so sad, bro. Like your whole life is just kick in the face, kick in the teeth, kick in the over and over and over, and there's just no letting. It is a little exhausting, but
it's exhausting. Yeah, it was exhausting.
Man,
I mean, I broke it up over. I watched like an hour and a half of it last night, and then I watched the last hour when I got home.
Oh, I don't know that I could have stopped it and then restarted it. I wouldn't have wanted to. I commend you for that, but like I definitely got pulled into it, sucked in, and just kind of powered through the whole movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
I mean, it's like Josh might disagree with some of the, but other than some of the acting, like it was a pretty damn well made movie. I thought, like the cinematography, there were some weird CG moments, and like I said, some of the act, like Kit Harington, kind of sucks.
He's terrible.
He was bad.
Well, like, he cannot do an American accent. Like what?
Yeah, he about butchered that shit, man.
When he died, I was like, well, that means that entire section of the movie was pointless, but also I'm glad he's out of this movie.
Dude. So that was the only thing that I really didn't understand was why he was even in it. Like
you can completely cut that out.
Yeah, that was I also agree. That was my one gripe. And I dude, look, I genuinely like I liked the movie. I might even try to find a copy to buy on Blu-ray or something, but like that doesn't need to be there at all.
Yeah.
it's just so she can get the shit beat out of her again. Like, what are we like? What are we talking
It
about?
was definitely way too long. That it was just, oh, like this terrible thing piled on top of this terrible thing. Like you could have few of the terrible things out, and it's still been
the
terrible.
traveling
Well,
scenes, like they could have done away with a couple of like the big wider
and a lot
shots.
of
I agree, Hugh.
It feels a little bit like trauma porn to me. Like it's just like relentlessly horrible and kind of repetitive. You know, it's like the same sort of things happening over and she gets captured. He's threatening her with assault, and it's just
but
sort
that's
of
like most movies we watch. I feel like that, like in general, like not speaking about a specific genre or whatever. Just like in general, most movies to me feel like you could cut out and make them 30-minute movies, and they would be able to get most of what we wanted done. At least in the stuff that I'm watching now. There's a lot of stuff that you specifically watch that's just longer, more dramatic, and stuff that I don't even watch it, so I don't know. Like I can't imagine that you can make Oppenheimer 65-minute movie, right? That likely wouldn't work. But most stuff you could cut a chunk of it out because most movies get repetitive, especially when you're looking at thrillers and slashers and stuff that I'm into. You know,
I do think he's sort of like, because it's jumping through time and it's non-linear, so he's showing you how like these things repeat themselves and stuff.
Right.
That's probably an intentional aspect of it. But I see when you say the word pretentious, this is the kind of stuff I think about though, because like to me this movie just felt like so self-serious. Every single moment was just so intense and like took itself so seriously.
Okay, thank God you said it first. Okay, good. Go ahead, sir.
Me?
Yes, dude. I was trying really hard not to say like I was laughing through half this fucking movie. It was depressing, but I was laughing through half of it.
Like when the guy had his intestines around his throat and he was all hanging there.
He's like, please.
Oh. I mean, it was so serious that I couldn't take it seriously. And
that's how I was feeling. It just was so dark. I just wouldn't. I mean, look,
when Kit Harington killed the guy in the outhouse for no reason, it was just like, and he's like struggling around but can't for some reason stand up to save himself. I was just like, woo, like,
yeah, what
silly.
and the whole end, like
I understood why he killed that guy.
When she finally kills Guy Pearce, I thought that was so stupid. Like she pops her arm out of the socket or whatever, right?
I was going to get to that. That was my
throws she just like kind of like not even like with any anger or anything, just sort of just like tosses this lamp at him. It's so anticlimactic, you know. It's just like she just tosses it and then he's just standing there burning and like,
well, I have to stand on my own, like, what do you call it, like my own criteria here.
Yeah,
had that been the actual end of this movie, I would have been furious because at that point I got really pissed off and I was like, what the fuck?
And when she shoots him, right? And then he goes through the window and he looks like he just gets pulled out the window.
Well, he definitely did if he was actually there.
Well, it looks like a move Tarantino would do, like a homage to like a really old Western. Like, just like yanked off the door.
That's not the stuff that bothers me though. I mean that's the one thing about these conversations that's interesting is that those kind of things that would bother you, typically I embrace them because we just look at different stuff as interesting or whatever, right? And so, but that part of the movie, I was actually glad that there was like 10 or 15 more minutes because I was like, okay, if that was the actual end, I was like so irritated because it was done so poorly. Like you said, she kind of like lobs this thing. Like she'd be like, God damn,
after all of this long journey, all of this suffering, this is the end. This is what she had to do.
You know, but like I mean, in all fairness, they have to wrap it up. I get it, but like it was just not executed very well.
No, but if you're going to tell this like epic journey, like a 2.5 hour epic journey that's leading to this point, this is what you got.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It is a 2.5 hour epic. It is a little.
Well,
it just doesn't justify itself.
I feel like it was very long when I watched it. It zipped through to me. Like it just kept going. Like I just was like, holy shit! And all of a sudden it was over with. The last part after that part though, it did feel like it was added on later. Like I don't really know. I don't know. up until the very end, I didn't feel like it didn't feel
Yeah.
hard to get through. The very end did feel a little bit like, all right, please fucking wrap this up so I can go to bed. But like, yeah, I'm not trying to defend the movie. It's not a
No,
good
I don't
movie.
think.
It's weird, bro. Like, okay,
And
maybe
I don't
it's
want to just shit on
movie,
it
but,
either. I
you
don't
know.
think it's. It just has a lot of problems to me, but
Yeah,
but then there's good stuff in it. There's parts of it that are genuinely creepy and like I thought it was pretty vile, you know, like
Yeah.
pretty unsettling, gratuitously so to
It's effective.
a certain extent.
man,
But I
assuming
was
they're putting
like, I was like,
there.
ooh, I hate how this makes me feel, and I'm like, well, I mean, I think that's what he wants, you know, that's
Right.
what they want me to feel really bad. It's working, so I can't fault it for that.
right.
But
It's like achieving the goal it set out to achieve. You're like,
yeah,
fuck, I don't know that's the right goal to fucking choose, but you
right.
got there.
I think like I was getting it, you know, the what he was going for too, but I think like the child beating at the end,
Man,
I was like, oh, we didn't need that, did we?
Yeah.
Well, like none of the child stuff was needed, or it was all needed, in my opinion. And I hated the person, and I thought it was fucking disgusting. But I also was like kind of glad that they didn't just tiptoe around, because like in movies like what's
I
the
think
one
at
that
that
everybody?
point I had gotten the message, but you know,
Yeah, no. I'm sure the
Yeah.
message was obvious, right? But I still don't want to. It's like a Serbian film. They talk about a bunch of stuff in that movie, but they don't show any of it. It's like, dude, that's not disturbing to me. It's the visualization is what's disturbing about this. And this movie was on a list of disturbing movies, but the guy described it as something that if you like Bone Tomahawk, you would like it. That's the only reason that I decided to pick it, is because I thought, oh, I think we all can agree that Bone Tomahawk's a pretty good movie. Like, and we like that guy's other stuff. So I was like, all right, cool, this ought to be good. I don't know anything about this director though, so I don't know. I
don't either. I think he's Dutch or something, but
well, he's clearly something.
he put his name on the title though. Like,
Yeah,
did
it
you
was
see
really
that? It
strange.
was like
It was very weird. It was like a little like
yeah, it's like I forget his name, but it's like he put his it's like
Hoof or something.
who let's see, hang on. Coolhoven.
Yeah.
Coolhoven, Martin Coolhoven.
Well, when
So
he did that, I thought, is this guy
Coolhoven's-
substantial and I just don't know him?
No, he just wants to be like John Carpenter or
No,
something.
that is
you know,
pretentious though. Like that is pretentious for sure.
Exactly. When I saw that, I was like, okay, he wants everyone to know his name. He's super cool. You know?
But I mean, you know, the guy that would make a movie like this would do that. Like this movie is my favorite part of the whole movie though isn't actually a part in the movie. My favorite part of the movie is that we get an all-time bad guy out of this, dude. This dude is like a top 5 evil motherfucker, man. Like as far as fictional characters, not you know, but like, dude, I don't know a bad guy that I've ever watched in a movie that I hated as much as I hate this guy. Like I do what?
That's pretty true, yeah.
So like to me, I'm like, oh damn, this can go in history for me. This can go on lists for me, man. Like top bad guys, top disturbing movies. Like it that to me is what I'm interested in. So
right,
you know, but boy, I tell you, I really wish I was a little more prepared for it. Is what I wish. That's it. Other than that, whatever, you know.
What did y'all think about the non-linear structure of it? Did you feel like that?
At first, I liked it because I thought it did a good job of like setting you up and kind of making you care about Dakota Fanning's character a little bit,
right?
And then it just barrages you with bad stuff. But I think like you know, after 10 terrible things that happened to her, like I don't know, the first act almost feels a little pointless.
By the time I got to the end, I'd kind of forgotten a lot of the beginning.
That's kind of what I mean. Like
it's so long in between that I was just like, wait, where were we? Like I kind of got lost a little bit.
I can understand that. I liked it, but I understand that. Like I totally
feel like there's something with the quote. Like I mean, they repeated it at the beginning and end of the movie. I want to watch the movie with like keeping that in mind and see if it changes mine.
I think like the PG-13 cut could be maybe pretty good.
Well, I would never watch a PG-13 cut. This would be 4.5 seconds long, dude. You would just be a fucking. It'd be a TikTok video. Fucking. Look, the non-linear stuff. I liked it because it kept me feeling like it wasn't boring. Like it kept refreshing me. because it would be like, oh, it's like a little episode, and then boom, another episode. And I was okay,
Right.
And I don't know, kept me going. Okay, well, what are they going to do now? Ultimately, the answer was given to me in the first 20 minutes, but
I was just like, I was thinking it through. Like, does it really justify itself? Like, other than the reveal that he's her dad.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't guess I know why it had to go backwards.
Yeah, I just think because if they'd have started out barraging you with that, you'd have just
You bailed.
completely
Most likely,
bailed.
I'm with you on that one. That's
So
you'd be like, I'm out of here.
Like, at least you gotta get halfway through the movie before.
Right.
And then at that point, like, you might as well finish it, right?
Yeah. But like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even look at stuff like that. Like you mentioned it, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even know. I don't even care. It doesn't matter to me. Like, it's just the way the movie is. Either like it or you don't. You know.
I keep thinking about the guy's poop-filled intestines. Like they're not. You know, they're thick with juices or something. It looks like a big sausage they wrapped.
It definitely looked like a sausage because I'm sure it was a sausage.
Man, y'all are just gonna leave old boy like that and let him talk to you a little bit?
Yo, I will say, when the kid was outside with the gun and she's like, hey, I don't want to mess with that, and the dad's like, but he needs to know how to do this, I was like, oh, that's gonna end up bad. I was like, I knew immediately that kid was gonna do something fucked up with that gun, since he was insisting that kid learn how to use it. I was like, oh, that's not good. Like I've learned enough watching all these fucking movies to know like certain things are like typically going to tell you some kind of foreshadowing, and that one I was going to need that for some bad reason. And then
we're just watching this kid for target practice. You know, something that's gonna happen.
Or like when he goes, whenever they show that scene from like the shot from up top, and you see that it's all snow and the gun's like 25 yards away, and he's like, I'll be fine. I was like, they're not going to shoot a fucking 10-year-old, are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. He's like, boom. And I'm like, oh, they're not going to shoot him. They're going to shoot him 4 times. Dude, there's bow, bow. I was like, oh, my God. This kid's just getting done up in the snow. Like, oh, man, it was awesome. Like,
I thought Kid Harington was in this movie. Like, I was like, oh, Kid Harington, he's in this. Like, we'll see a little bit. He had like 3 lines, a dumb part, and then he got killed.
It was like an hour and a half in the movie before he even shows up, right?
Yeah.
It was an
I was
hour
like, oh, wait.
minutes in.
Dude,
The movie's almost over.
And I was like, well, we got an hour left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, the boldness in which these people were taking lives in this movie was incredible to me.
Oh.
Because the guy, it was no hesitation. And I admire that, because like, you think like, okay, they're gonna like fight over this thing, and then he's gonna maybe narrowly escape it, but it's like, no, he's just like, give me that cacao, and you're like, oh my God, he just murdered this guy, and it's just over. And he just, I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I fucking like this movie, man. Like, it's just so insane. Yeah. Like, it's a crazy fucking movie. I just didn't know it was crazy. I thought it was gonna be a little more tame than this.
I just wish it wasn't so serious. Like I'm in Josh's camp with it. That if it had gone a little more the Tarantino route, or just the exploitation movie route,
yeah,
you know,
it felt like a self-serious exploitation movie.
It would have taken.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. So stupid. Oh man!
Like if it had been a little more fun, you know, maybe implied a little bit. I feel like it's a little vile, but
yeah. Well, that's exactly what I like about it, though. Like I like the fact that it's like so fucking, because it is stupid. Like, let's be honest, it's fucking dumb.
Yeah,
the fact that it's that serious is pretty dumb.
Yeah,
and that's what makes me laugh. I like to just be like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know. like the fact that it's that serious. I mean, it's pretty wacky. Yeah. I'm not even arguing that you're wrong at all. It's just I get enjoyment out of that. So
and you like digging for the extreme stuff, like relentlessly extreme stuff.
Well, like that movie, The Sadness. You were like, I hate it. It's just violence the whole way through. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. And you were like, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, this is just not my thing. I just don't want to.
I'm glad I didn't know that, because I wouldn't have picked it. I wouldn't have picked this to show you like. I'll show you some like B movie shit. I'm not gonna make you sit through this knowing that it's like that though, unless I've talked to you about it beforehand and you're like, yeah, I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff like this that I feel like has something I can get behind, but just felt like it was just torture, or like for a long time. You know,
maybe that was like the inside joke. They're like, we're not going to make this 90 minutes, dude. We're going to make this 180. And they're like, let's do it. Like, I mean, because I would do that. I would do something like that. I would make a movie that was so long that like
I did fast forward a little.
The Clay special.
I mean, I don't even care. I expect that from you. Like
when the ladies of the night were having their loving conversation at the like pond's edge, I was like, I'm good. I don't need to see this.
Well, you're the least patient person that I know, and so I'm not really surprised that you do that. And I feel like if I was to watch one of your movies and go, and then I fast forwarded through 10 minutes of it, you'd explain to me for 20 minutes why I should have watched the 10 minutes.
What I on the shore?
I don't know or care. You can fast forward through 90% of it. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me, man. I don't care. I genuinely, this stuff doesn't bother me. I don't care. I just thought it was funny when you said it, because when you said it, I wasn't surprised. That's why I started laughing. I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. Yeah, because it was a long ass. Look, dude, it was a long movie. There was plenty to I'm not arguing for the length of it. That's crazy.
I liked it. I mean, the style of it's pretty good. It reminds me of those, the Japanese movies where they don't pull any punches. They go hard. Everything is rough, very nihilistic. I like that kind of stuff.
Nihilistic is a good descriptive word for this one.
Some of the like preachy stuff that me, and you know where that would probably irk me a little, but I'm just like, man, this guy's whole motivation is, God told me to. He told me, and not you, but we're doing this. Yeah. So
you try to justify every little thing you can, which I guess is kind of fairly accurate, but it's just taken to such an extreme.
Well, it's not accurate in real life. It's accurate on a very small percentage of people. They just happen to be on TV sometimes. So
the cult leader personality or whatever.
Right. Yeah, like the vast majority of people don't behave like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean. But this is just taken to such the extreme that, like, really, I don't really believe anybody that was that invested in religion and being a preacher, and like I don't think there's anyone that's that bad. I mean,
it's got to be very few and far between. But I mean, I feel I agree with you on that. I'm like, man, that's a little much. Like
when he puts the what do you call that thing on his wife? The
scold. Yeah, I think it's called a scold.
Is that what it's called?
God damn, that's messed up. I never want to use that word
when
again.
He puts that thing on his wife, and then they're in the church, and he's doing his sermon.
I thought that shit was hilarious, dude.
And no one even looks at her. She's just like, this is normal.
Well, that one bald guy is like, you can see him even as like a regular person acting in a movie. He's like, Jesus, like the old he's like
I'm in this movie.
Yeah, he's like looking at his contract. Did I sign up for this shit, dude? Like, I'm 73 years old. I don't want to be represented like this. And then I will say, dude, when she came plopping down, I didn't expect that. I was like, I thought she was going to do something crazy, but I was like, I think she's going to fucking herself.
And he just keeps going with
dude.
His
I was like, oh, he's going for it. Oh, this dude's out of his mind. I was like, this is crazy. Bro, look, you're talking me into loving this fucking movie, Josh. Oh, bro, I'm gonna get a special edition 4K steelbook of this one. Dude, if that exists, I might have to buy it, actually.
I wonder if Guy Pearce is all right. I mean,
bro, dude, that has to be the intro to this video, Josh. You have to clip that out, and then it goes into, hey, everybody, this is Talking Movies. I wonder if Guy Pearce is all right. That's what I would use if this was a punk rock review episode. I would cut that out and use it at the beginning. That was awesome. Dude, fucking hell yeah, Hugh. That was awesome.
I mean, or even just the freaking director of this thing.
Oh, the director's not all right. I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, the director.
It felt like crap. What was the? It's Lars von Trier. With,
dude. The murder movie with Matt Dillon.
Yes, that one.
Jack Dillon.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It felt a bit like that.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I was thinking a little bit of Lars von Trier watching this. So I was like, this
but
is
just a little like von Trier.
Yes.
Yeah. That one at least has some like philosophical things kind of crowbarred in there.
Oh, stop it. That movie is garbage, but I like it. But it's garbage, dude. That movie's stupid.
Are they from the same
It's
city
very
or
pretentious.
something? Let's see here. Brimstone.
That might be like my favorite pretentious movie, actually.
It must be. because it's very pretentious. I
is.
kind of like that movie, but there's a lot of stuff you cut out of that one too.
Oh, dude, like 40% of it can be cut out of it. All of his monologues, like, shut the fuck up, please.
Yeah.
Oh
there's a
man,
lot
he
of
talks.
monologues.
He talks more than I do, and I like talking.
Well, all the scenes in between the scenes where he, like you said, he's just monologuing. There's a whole section of that movie where it's just showing clips of other Lars von Trier movies. he's talking about like masterpieces or something. I'm like, wow.
Dude, Lars von Trier is a fucking corny idiot, dude. That guy's so dumb.
Definitely the top of the pretentious pyramid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He's got to be a psycho or something. Like he's got to have some kind of weird.
He's
psycho.
wearing a butt plug right now. Like, I
Yeah.
guarantee you.
Talking about how his movie's a masterpiece.
It's got his own face on it.
It definitely does. Oh shit, he had 4 of them made. Oh god, that dude's
Preach.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yo, like, dude, when you were out, you said that about Guy Pearce. I mean, I was curious about like, I want to know like what made him. I want to know why. Okay, I kind of understand why Dakota Fanning was signed up for this because this is more like a look at the way women were treated type of movie from her vantage point.
Right.
But what does Guy Pearce get out of this outside of being like the guy that was that fucking guy? Like,
yes, it's especially towards the end when he's whipping a little girl and stuff. I was
and
like,
then he like abuses
what
her.
made
Like,
him do this? What convinced him?
it shows him sleeping in her bed, post like coital, like
God.
fucking. Dude, I took a shower at 5:30 this morning. Like, oh, I didn't really, but I should have. Like, it was rough, man. It was, but like, I mean,
I assume he got paid, and 2, I think a lot.
Yeah, he did. I hope he got paid.
I mean, like paid well. I mean,
He didn't
he's
do it
like,
for
you forgot
free.
to pay me for that movie 10 years ago, bro. I need a. They're like, well, we lost money on it, so you owe me money, Guy Pearce.
but
Like, I just really want to do this. Go
paid
ahead and pay me.
paid well.
That'd be amazing if this is just like a passion project.
Cool hoping
Dude,
that's just a
the movie he
anagram
always.
for Guy Pearce. He made the whole
So,
thing.
Guy Pearce, I have to let you know, sir. I don't regret to inform you, but you're on a list now, buddy. Like you're on that. You're on a fucking FBI list now, my
You're
guy.
not allowed to go close to school zones.
Yeah,
Why you
they
picked a
watched
different name?
Lawless and they were like, he's kind of a weird guy. And then this came out, they were like, fuck, I knew it, man. I knew it when we watched Lawless. He was going to keep on pushing that envelope.
I wonder about that. Like
But-
Chris's point, like they must have paid him to like they must have been like, here's $5 million or something. Like maybe he got some loot out of it.
Yes, that's what I was
Or-
trying
Yeah,
to say.
finish your thoughts. Sorry.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, just do Lawless again, guy. Just do that one more time, and here you go. And
But with
Yeah, but
this fucking
to-
script.
2, I think actors get scripts like this, and on paper they go, "Ooh, this is kind of heavy." Like, I wonder if this could be my
Yeah.
Oscar. I wonder if this could get me all the awards, or open up this door. I mean, because
can
Guy
do it
Pearce
again.
hadn't been in a ton of stuff, and definitely neither has Dakota Fanning. So I think they could look at this and go, this could. I mean, they don't see the finished. Well, they don't see the finished product. They see. I mean, they're filming it, but
Right.
Anything
I mean,
with
No, I
this much
totally understand.
pedophilia in it is not getting any Oscar love.
Well, Chris, I
Ain't
understand
touching that with
and I
a
agree
10-foot
with that.
pole.
I agree wholeheartedly with that, actually. I was thinking that when I was watching it. I was like, he must have saw something in this turd when he was reading it, and he was like, there's some shiny shit in there. Like, fucking wipe it off here, clean it up there.
Yeah.
Fucking,
he's done some weird stuff though. Like he's a great actor, but he's done a lot of like Memento and this, and then he did. I mean, he tries to have like a really dynamic range. I think
that's
And
true.
No, I think
Memento's
he's
a
good
fucking
actor.
weird movie, too.
I think he sort of is limited there, and sort of doesn't think he is though. Like all the accents. they
He sucks,
kinda-
but he thinks he's great.
No, I think he's great, but I don't think he is great. Right, one of the greats. I
He's
with
not he's not a movie star. He's not like a lead, really. Like he could headline like a smaller movie, but he's never gonna be like
like Brimstone.
a Brad Pitt or something, you know. Of course, he's a good character actor, and he's really good.
Yeah,
And
he's really good.
he's got the face of a guy that could be a leading actor. Because he's a very handsome fella, or at least he was in his younger. I don't know. I'm not trying to be weird about it, but like, you know, he was a good looking dude. Like, had his talents been just a little more elevated, like just a little bit, it wouldn't have taken much, man. Like, look at Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I wouldn't call him like strikingly handsome, but he's fucking amazing actor. So it doesn't matter what he looks like. He could gain 40 more pounds. He's gonna have roles till he's dead. And it's like, you know, he's not quite of that ilk, that caliber, and you know. Like, I do think what Chris was saying has a lot of validity, man. I think there was probably something that he was looking at going, man, if this is directed right, this is a character that people are going to remember. And it's like, yeah. And then they get the end product. He's like, fuck, dude, I don't know if I should have done that.
Yeah. Or he's like, no, I like Westerns. I have got to do this.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
One thing I was thinking is like, they keep saying like a wolf in sheep's clothing. I was like, he's just a wolf in wolf's clothing. There's no sheep. There's like, he's bad from the very beginning, and he stays bad. There's no like, he's not charming anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you watch this guy for 5 minutes. I mean, it's like when the chick walks into the church with the thing on her head. It's like nobody's like,
yeah, like maybe we should stop listening to this guy's sermons.
No, all the dudes were like, I like the way this guy thinks.
Right.
Get in the kitchen. But
where can I get one of those?
Make me
yeah, dude. That was just an advertisement, bro. He was getting paid.
Yeah, because this could also be oh man, I can't think of a freaking the Manly Man guy that got freaking arrested not too long ago. God damn it, I can't think of his name.
An actor?
No, the podcast guy, Super Manly Man.
Oh, the one that Tom Segura always talks about.
Yes,
Bradley Martin.
No.
No, I can't.
Oh, Andrew
Tate.
Yes,
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
This is Andrew Tate's favorite movie.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah,
that was crazy, dude. That's an accusation right there.
That's the beginning of the podcast. This is Andrew Tate's favorite movie.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. No, you don't want that crowd coming over here, Josh.
No, that's true. No. That's true.
You're gonna have fucking what's his face from the Danny K over here sucking your dick later. That fucking idiot.
He's never getting this far into the podcast, so.
I hope he does. I hope he does. Chill the fuck out, Danny. I used to really like you, man. You were a good dude at one point. That's fucking. I'm disappointed in you, son.
Yes,
that's fucked up. But yeah, man, this movie was wild, dude. Like, I don't know.
It was a rough one.
It was definitely.
I don't want to stray away from this, but I'm watching a very rough show. It's Mayor of Kingstown, and they have a lot of this same like kidnapped, put into a brothel, forced to do sex work kind of shit going on. And it's really rough. And then I turned this on. I'm like, oh, they just, chopped that guy's fingers off. And I'm getting them mixed up. I'm like, oh, that Mayor of Kingstown?
That's not good. That's not good. Well,
they drowned that guy in the pool, right? Oh wait, that wasn't that. No.
Dude, at one point I was sitting in here with my door like it was like pushed like to but not shut. And it was like, dude, it was like 3 a.m, man. And I guess Parker woke up and wanted mommy, and he walks in here, and I was watching it. I didn't even know he was in here. And then he goes, what happened to the sheep? And I was like, oh shit. I'm like trying to turn it off, bro. I was like, dude, look, man, I'm pretty liberal with what my kids can watch. I did not want them watching anything close to this fucking movie, man.
Right.
I'd rather them watch Terrifier than this, because that's very comical and clearly not real. This is a little too accurate for me, man. But I'm glad we watched it. I'm sorry that it was so intense. I really didn't know that, man.
That's all good.
But
it was nice to look at.
Yeah, it's a well-made movie. It is a pretty movie. For sure.
I genuinely think it's one for the record books for me, man. I'm gonna probably buy a copy of this one. It's the bad guy's so epically bad, and this is gonna be one where I go, here, you need to borrow this if you want a fucked up movie. I get asked about like what are fucked up a lot, so I will hand this to somebody because I think this is way worse than what's the one I was just talking about?
Serbian film.
A Serbian. Dude, this is way worse than a Serbian film. Have y'all seen a Serbian film? I know Hugh has. Neither of y'all have, right? It's not as bad as this. And they talk about some pretty gross stuff. That's about it. It's boring as fuck. That movie was so disappointing. I watched that one like aiming for some disturbing stuff. I want to see if I can make it through this. Its credits were rolling. I was like, that's all people are tripping about? We really are in a, bitch-made society, I guess, if that's what you're so freaked out by. Salo's a little more intense than that one. I don't know if it's more intense. This is a pretty rough one. This deserves to be on some list. They might have made it for that reason.
This
I
is
don't
a
know.
crazy movie. Yeah, it's in my wheelhouse for sure, man. I did enjoy parts of it, I will say. I thought if it just had a little better editing, that was the only thing I could have really said about it. But it's gnarly, it's crazy, it's got a crazy story. The end where they got on fire or whatever, that one, I was like, whatever. You know, I've seen worse. Bring on the giallo a little bit, but you try harder next time. No, wait, don't do that because that's what you did so much this whole movie.
I mean,
but
I thought we had a pretty fun talk about it, though. I will say that it did bring an interesting conversation to the table.
There was a conversation to be had for sure.
I appreciate the fact.
Not if you're a woman, though. If you're a woman, shut the fuck up. Yeah, put those things on.
Wow.
That sound clip will be fun to see in about 5 years.
Remember
when he said that about women?
You're getting canceled for this one.
God, thank you. Finally, it's about time. Trying to make some money. Yeah, man. What? I thought we move on from this one, man.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, that's probably about it. Well, Chris, why don't you just throw us with your pick for next week, real quick, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. Did you not know?
I knew it was your pick.
Okay, we'll give you a few minutes then.
Yeah, I started compiling a new movie watch list. I'm gonna send it to you guys once I hit 50 and just see what y'all think of it. I'm trying to keep it with movies that I've either seen once a long time ago and don't remember anything about, or just haven't seen at all. And then our next pick for Kenna and I to talk about on the channel is going to be Tenebrae, because she's never watched a giallo at all. Like, never heard of it, didn't know anything about it, didn't know what it was. I was shocked. For somebody that likes horror as much as I know she does, I was flabbergasted that she didn't know what giallo was. And then I found out she took like an Italian film class at school, and she still did. They didn't. She said they didn't even talk about giallos at all.
Weird.
Do you think Tenebrae is the right one to start with?
What would you recommend?
What was that one you gave me?
Sincerely, I'm actually asking. Like, what would you recommend?
It was like red something. What was the one you gave me?
No. I mean, I would maybe do like Torso or something.
Was Torso a giallo?
Yeah.
I consider Torso a slasher.
It leans more towards slasher, but it's still a giallo. It's still like a Hitchcock, like whodunit giallo movie for sure.
And you don't think Tenebrae? Dude, I thought Tenebrae would be good to start with. It's a good ass movie.
Yeah, but it's like commenting on Bay of Blood.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah, Bay of Blood's awesome too.
That one was pretty good.
I feel like Tenebrae is one that like you see after you've seen some other giallos, because it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like commenting on the genre.
Because I literally said the opposite. I said, this is one that you should watch, and if you like it, you should go deeper into the genre. That's literally what I told her.
It's a good one. I think it is. I mean, it's one of the better giallos, probably.
Well, I'm not doing it next week either with her. We're doing it the following week, just like we are. So I might just text her in a minute and see if she wants to switch it over to Torso. I mean, I love Torso, so I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
I'll watch that movie just about any time.
Yeah. No, I mean, like Blood.
I'm glad I brought it up then, because
maybe, but that's a good. That's a classic one.
I almost said the Bird with a Crystal Plumage, but I don't know if I even like that movie.
What's that one I gave you, Josh?
What?
I loaned you Sex Hunter or something?
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched it yet, but
it's a giallo.
Like a Japanese giallo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got that one on my shelf. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Can it be a giallo if it's Japanese?
It's not technically a giallo, but it's...
I was just curious.
They try to
Yeah,
use it.
it's
They
got
do
giallo
well.
elements.
Okay.
Well, I watched like Evil Dead Trap. That's got a lot of like sort of giallo elements to it. Feels very
I'm surprised you
Argento.
watched
I liked it. That was pretty cool.
Dude. Y'all got to watch House. That
yeah.
is one of the craziest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. And we just got done talking about Brimstone. It's completely different tonally, but it's so weird, man. I watched it twice in the last like maybe 30 hours. It's like all the way through both times, and I just was. It's not a very long movie. Boy,
Yeah.
I was just like, man, this is so weird, dude. Like,
It's just bonkers, man.
it is definitely it's bonkers.
I couldn't make it. Yeah, I was just like, it's like an abstract painting. I was like,
it
I
is.
can
Yeah.
see how people appreciate it. It's style.
Once I learned a little bit about it, though, like the fact that it has the director's daughter was basically hired to write a bunch of it, and she was 10, and he wanted it to be
like a fantasy kind of
like
fantasy.
so he's like, you tell me what you think this should look like, and she did that, and I was like, that explains so many questions that I had back when I watched it the first time, because when I watched it the first time I felt just like you. I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, I don't think I liked it at all. And then I learned a little bit about it. And I was like, oh. And then I rewatch it. I'm like, oh, I really do like this movie a lot. I'm kind of bummed out that I didn't pick it up the last time I had an opportunity, you know? But yeah, very, very weird movie.
That's one I've been wanting to see, but
I would
you got to be in the
right
mood for something like that too.
Very much. It's just like Tetsuo. If you're not in the right mood, you're not going to enjoy that one either.
Right. If you haven't taken the right drugs.
I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah,
Dude,
I tried to watch House, and not that it wasn't doing anything for me, but it's just one of those, like, I get 45 minutes through, and then I don't know.
Man, all the weird ass movies that we watch that you're like, oh, I like this, and none of us like it that much. And I'm surprised you don't really, really like that one. You might once you get through it all.
Yeah, I didn't stop myself because I didn't like it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
It's just for whatever reason, I just never went back to it and never finished it.
I mean, it's definitely a mood piece. If you're not, like we were just saying, if you're not in the right mood, that movie will be incredibly hard to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those things you got to go for the ride.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a movie.
Start and watch the whole thing instead of trying to break it up.
Right.
There's a movie that I want to ask you guys about real quick while he's looking at that. Let's see. I got a couple of things that I wrote down. Okay. Did we do Excision on the podcast?
Excision?
I don't think so.
Is that the one with the chick from what's the plastic surgery? Nip Tuck?
Yes, it is.
The curly hair.
Yeah, but she looks like a goblin in this movie.
Yeah, and yes, but then she
No,
okay,
I've not seen that.
Okay, I've seen that movie. It's bro, yeah, that one we might want to watch that on the channel sometime soon.
I own that. I am a fan.
Yeah, that movie is very weird. And then there's one called Primal Rage that I'm looking at watching soon. Has anybody heard that one?
No.
Let's see. I want to rewatch Terminator 1 as well. That movie.
I just rewatched that.
Is it still good?
I fucking loved it.
Dude, hell yeah, man. I might watch that tonight.
I like 1 more than I like 2, I think.
Dude, thank you, bro. I've been saying that shit for so long.
People
are like, you're crazy. I don't even bring it up. I do like 2 though. 2's
well,
awesome.
It's very similar to how I feel about Alien and Aliens. That I like the horror movie one. I like the one that's more, kind of smaller scale and just.
Terminator is a slasher with a robot.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Which is why I like it. Which is also why I like Predator.
Yeah, and two's awesome, and Aliens is awesome. But
yeah, all those movies are great. But
all those movies changed my life.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
Yeah,
man, awesome. I remember when I was a kid, I went and I borrowed Terminator 1 and 2 on VHS from my friend down the street. His name was Lee Lovely. His kid was Chris Lovely, and his buddy was my friend. His kid was my buddy. And I went over to his house and I was like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" And they used to be like, you know how everybody has a neighbor where you can just walk up and tap on the door and open it. That was these guys. You could just go, "Hey guys, if their glass door was closed, but the wooden door was open, and you could see inside the house, you're welcome to walk in." And so I walked over and I tapped on it and I opened it. I said, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" And his dad used to smoke cigarettes inside. He was like, "Hey, grab me my cigarettes." And I was like, "All right." I grabbed him. I go walk in there, and he's got this big ass box TV. And I'm like, "Ooh, what is this?" And he goes, "Terminator 2. You ever seen it?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Here, sit down." And then, like, I don't know, 20 minutes in, the phone rings. And it's my mom. She's like, "Hey, you got to come home for dinner or whatever, right?" He goes, "Hey, you have a VCR?" And he hands me Terminator 1. And he goes, "This is the first one. Watch it, and then you can borrow this one after that if you like it." And I remember just being like captivated by the first movie and being like, "This is amazing." And like, and then like, but it was like scary kind of, right? And then the second one, I was like, "Oh, this is and the second one was like just this bigger, you know, more
spectacle.
Slicker. And I like it, but I was like, that first movie scared the shit out of me, man. Not like really, but like it was like, whoa, man, that was a scary movie.
I was like Eddie Furlong's, around Eddie Furlong's age. I think I was like younger, but he just seems so cool to me.
Yes,
like,
dude.
He's like
with the hair and
he
shit.
does a little motorcycle. Yeah. I mean, I just was like, dude, Eddie Furlong's the man. I want to be that guy, you know? And I was like 10 or something.
He doesn't look so cool anymore.
No, he does not.
Chris and I walked by him at the Houston Horror Con, and he was looking pretty rough.
He got kicked off of Terminator 3, I guess, because he OD'd on they were like, "You cannot use drugs if you want to be in this movie." And he's like, "Okay." And then like the next day, he goes and parties all night because he's signed, and he passes out on the floor of some club. He like ODs on heroin or something. They bring him back, and they're like, "Oh, you're alive, thank God." But they're like, "You cannot be in this movie."
I'm glad you're alive.
A liability.
We can fire you.
Yeah, our insurance company will not cover you.
No, they won't.
Oh my god.
Chris, you got a movie for us? Yep. What we got?
I do.
Oh.
So speaking of Alien and Aliens, I have a Ridley Scott movie that it's not on any of y'all's Letterboxd. I know how much.
I thought you were going to say Billy Madison.
I know how much Randy keeps up with his Letterboxd.
I do.
Black Rain.
Wait a minute, I love that movie.
No, Michael Douglas, right?
It's Michael Douglas, Andy Garcia.
Oh yes.
Josh bought me this on VHS a long time ago.
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie, dude. I haven't
seen this movie in like
it's the Yakuza,
years.
right? Is it a Yakuza movie? Yeah.
Yeah,
I love this movie, dude. I'm super down with this.
I'm pretty sure I've seen parts of it on cable, like as a kid, but I don't know if I've ever watched it from beginning to end.
Does it have a 4K? I wonder, because there's some really good shots in this, if I remember.
I don't think there's a 4K, but
yeah, I don't think so.
I know it's a pretty good, like neon, lots of neon stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's on Pluto TV to stream, but it's a rent otherwise.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it on VHS at my store.
There you go.
I've
heard it's an underrated Ridley Scott, deep cut, from the catalog.
I would say that's accurate.
89. So man, it's old. I don't know. I think it could be awesome. Never seen it, so
cool.
I think you'll dig it.
Yeah, it's been on my list for a while. And yeah, it's a little long. It's 125.
That's what she said. Oh, I almost got there.
It's a little over 2 hours, but I mean, we just watched a 2.5 hour.
2 hours. That's
well, there's no way it's as hard to watch as this one, so you're probably just fine, sir.
Yeah.
Anybody watch anything cool recently? Anybody gonna watch Beetlejuice this weekend? Anybody care about that at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the kids to see it probably.
I was thinking about doing the same, but I work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm pumped. I'm gonna make some money this weekend, bro. So,
my daughter is in a Tim Burton phase.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cute.
So she watched all of Wednesday.
My daughter loves Wednesday
with Tori, and then she watched Beetlejuice, and she was all about that. She watched Edward Scissorhands. She loved that. So,
I need to let Charlie watch Edward Scissorhands. That's a good one. That's a good call.
Yeah,
she's gonna be an emo chick.
she might be.
She
was all like primary colors, and now she's like all into the goth stuff. But it's a cool. But yeah,
Winona Ryder's still banging ass hot in this movie, so I'm stoked to go watch it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna do well. It looks pretty cool. I mean,
it looks zany and kooky, and if it's even as if it's 75% as cool as the first one, I'll be stoked.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're gonna get more Michael Keaton.
I already know we do. Yeah, we
I always forget how little he is in that movie. I rewatched it like a week ago.
Yeah, he's not in it a lot.
It's like 10, 15 minutes, maybe. Like
Yeah,
he's
I mean, it's
barely in
really
the
not a
movie.
lot.
Yeah,
He's in it like
Beetlejuice?
he's
Yeah.
in it sporadically enough for you to be like,
he
it's
is
a Beetlejuice
barely
movie.
in the movie. Like he is very, very sparing.
Yeah, the first movie's not about him.
It's sort of an iconic in such a like memorable role and character that I guess they didn't want to overdo it.
He's so big. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I know I've seen it as a kid, but it's been
My
a
very
really
first
long
nightmare
time.
was the Beetlejuice nightmare. I'll never forget it.
Really?
Yeah. It was about the banister that turns into the snake.
Mm.
Scared the shit out of me. I was very, very little when I watched that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have high expectations for the new one. So
no, I just think it'll be
it's
fun.
Yeah, if it's fun, then whatever. I mean,
it'll be easier to watch than Brimstone.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, Burton hasn't really done anything good for a while. You know, it's been a while.
I agree. I don't like Tim Burton movies. The dude's a douchebag.
I really don't like Tim Burton, but
yeah, I mean, I don't hate him as much as you do, but I don't like his movies at all.
I will say, rewatching Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands, I was like, I can see how this is. I kind of like this, especially seeing my daughter get into it.
Right.
It's like this is like entry level horror stuff. Like it's really not scary. It's like there's a morbidity to it, but it is silly. Like,
very good language there, sir.
Oh, yeah.
That was very well explained. I agree 100%.
Yeah, well, it's about death and stuff, but it's never taking itself seriously. It's always kind of silly and zany. So it's.
I wish he would have stuck to stuff like that. And like, I don't like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory stuff that he did. I don't like. The Batman movies don't hold up to me at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, who's going to say no to the Batman stuff? Like, why would he not have made those?
Yeah, silly. People still love him.
Yeah, I watched Batman Returns. I'd say is the better of the two.
I was about to say that. I like Batman Returns still.
Michelle Pfeiffer is worth watching that movie.
Yeah, yeah,
dude, like that'll mess up a young boy for the rest of his life.
What? And Batman's barely in that movie too. Like Michael Keaton, I think he didn't want to wear the suit. So like
he had the cheat code. He's like, I'll get this check, but I'll only be in the movie for like 15, 20 minutes.
It's mostly Danny DeVito like being gross. And
dude, he was a nasty motherfucker in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a big Michael Keaton fan here. Did you see Mr. Mom?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen Mr. Mom, to be honest.
Those are some solid 80s family, adult films and movies. Not
I like Kindergarten Cop. What does your daddy and what does he do?
Gung-Ho, I mean, Mr. Mom's pretty good. The guy loses his job. His wife works. She's like, hey, take care of the kids. And he's like, only for a while.
And back in the 80s is like, the dad's staying home.
No, I was literally like, that's
kids.
me right
what?
now. I'm Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Had some laughs in it.
No,
I'd watch that. Dude, hey, when do y'all want to... Josh, do you want to try to host the UFC Noche at your house or no?
When is it?
In like 2 weeks. Maybe not even 2 weeks, like a week and a half. Like it's the weekend after. It's not this weekend, but the following weekend. It's the Sean O'Malley, Marab. It's at the Sphere. It's a pretty big card. So I was thinking that if you wanted to watch one at your house on the big screen, this would be a good one to do it.
Sure. Yeah, okay. I mean, let me check with.
Just let me know in the next couple of days so I can schedule off at work in the right amount of time. I just need to know what time I can tell them I can leave. I can work if we're doing it at your house. I can work a little like an hour later. So
okay, I
make it just easy. But if I don't care either way, I'm going to watch it regardless. So
yeah, I mean, generally I don't mind doing that. I
didn't think so. My goal was to not bombard you with the requests to do that, even though I had a lot of fun. I just thought, like, let me reserve some special ones for whenever I ask if you could do it at your house.
No, that's cool. I'm glad you want to do it here.
Beautiful home, man. That's a beautiful place, dude.
Thanks. And I do want to do a movie night. Like, I know it's hard to line up schedules, but
when y'all figure out a movie night on a Saturday, just make sure it's at least like a 10-day advance notice for me. And I can get it. I'll just take the night off. I don't care. I'll just let me know so I know. And I'll work a day shift and come over after that.
Okay.
Yeah, because Carissa and me have a thing figured out with the shop. So if I'm working at Alamo, she's 100% cool with working at the shop because now I don't work Wednesdays at Alamo anymore. So I only work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. and she works at the shop so that I can work Saturdays at Alamo, and it gives me another day at home during the week, which we figured out ultimately gets me more time with them. So it just worked out better this way, and it opens up her schedule at her work too. So it just works. So I can take Saturday nights and go do something if I want.
Nice. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
Cool. So Black Rain.
I'm kind of psyched for this one, dude. I like this movie.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch it.
Dude, when he said it, I started cracking up, bro. I was like, "That's the one Josh bought me on VHS." I was like, "Yes, dude, let's fucking go."
Even if it sucks, we can talk about Ridley Scott for probably.
Bro, you can talk a lot. You can talk about him for a long time, man.
Yeah.
Last question before we go: is there anything coming out outside of Beetlejuice that anybody's interested in the next few weeks? I have no idea what's going on in the movies.
New movies coming
Yeah.
out? Like I don't
Pretty
know.
slim.
Any kind of 4K shit coming out? Any kind of cool releases I need to be aware of?
I think there's a new Terminator 4K coming out, isn't there?
Oh,
Yeah,
is that why they were talking about it recently? I've seen it pop up a couple times.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be another Cameron,
Oh, you mean
shiny restoration.
I'd rather just have a DVD.
that's sort of a gritty, grimy looking movie too. Like it's a lot
Dude,
in the dark.
Have you heard him talk about this stuff though? When they bring it up,
Yeah,
he's like, "Fuck you! I know what I'm doing." I'm like, "Ugh."
well, he literally said like these guys need to get out of their basements or something like that because there's so much backlash to his
Like
transfers.
what a snooty prickish thing to say. Like I get that you're the expert,
Oh.
but like you're only the expert because we allow you to be the expert. Like if everybody stopped going to your movies, you would no longer be an expert. You'd be the fucking guy making movies for nobody. But
Yeah,
he's like, look at Avatar. I'm like, dude, don't use that as your fucking example of great filmmaking, you idiot.
Yeah.
Avatar is like pretty to an extent. Overall, kind of a blah movie experience.
Yes, Avatar and Terminator are very different.
I know, bro. If he's making Terminator look like Avatar, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Oh.
dude.
Yeah.
Cameron's
Or
always
Disney.
been known as a prick, though. Like I don't even remember if we talked about it when we did The Abyss, but everybody hated him doing that movie. Ed Harris won't even talk about that movie because
Wow, interesting.
he hated it so much. Yeah,
Mm.
he's
Yeah.
a dick.
Talk about pretentious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Black Rain next week. See you later.
Later on.